Hi, welcome to this week's Authors Love Readers podcast, where we delve into the stories behind the stories. We're asking authors questions, some of them fun, some of them serious, and from their answers, you're going to learn things you never knew about the people who write the stories you love. My name is Patricia McLinn. I'm your host and designated question asker.
I'm Audrey. I'm from BookBub, and we love readers.
Now, let's start the show. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Authors Love Readers podcast. I'm so pleased that you are here with us, and I am especially excited to introduce you to Audrey Derobert from BookBub. We're going to talk about BookBub from the reader's standpoint. I think this is an opportunity for you readers to find out something maybe a lot of you don't know about. And there are some obvious benefits, and then there's some more subtle benefits that we're going to talk about. From the author's standpoint, lots of folks know about BookBub, and it's a great way to get our books out in front of the eyes of readers who might not have otherwise discovered us. Unfortunately, BookBub doesn't do that for free. Although I suppose it's fortunate from Audrey's standpoint, because then she gets paid for her job. and that works out well for you, doesn't it, Audrey?
Yes.
It's a really interesting thing, because if you talk about BookBub in the author world, everybody knows what you're talking about. But I've encountered a lot of readers who are not aware of it. So I wanted to start by asking Audrey, what's in it for readers? What is the top benefit for readers of BookBub, and how does that work?
Great question, Pat. So there are just so many, like you were saying, benefits of BookBub. When I found it, it was right before I started interviewing here, and I've loved reading all my life, and it really has just changed how I'm able to discover books, which is so exciting. So as you well know, our best known tool is called Featured Deals. And if you are an ebook reader, I mean, for me, it was just totally revolutionary, because it changed the way I was able to discover new books, discover new authors. So what featured deals are daily discounted ebooks in genres that our readers love. So we have a ton of genres to choose from right now. I think we're up to like 43. So if you like reading, then you probably will be able to find a genre that you like here. But they're curated by an in-house team of editors. So we're making sure that we're finding really quality books that we're sure our readers are going to enjoy. And it's a great low stakes way of discovering, like I said, new books and authors. We have prices that are as low as free. They go up to, I think, $4.99 is the highest we've ever run, and that's pretty rare. But for anybody who uses an e-reader, so Kindle, Nook, Kobo, Apple, Google Play, it's just a fantastic way to be finding really discounted books.
So readers who are interested, go to BookBub, BookBub.com, right?
Yeah.
And they sign up for a daily newsletter. Is there anyone, can you get it other than daily, or is it only daily?
Yeah, it's a really good question. We do have a weekly option. So if you don't want to have an email every day, totally understandable. And you can sign up and get just a weekly roundup of all the deals that are still live.
And then you decide which genres you want to get, right?
Yep, that's right. So you'll sign up, get your email address in, you'll tell us what genres you like to read, how much you like to read, how adventurous you are. So if you are a romance reader and you really only like reading, like, let's say, your historical romance, and that's all you're interested in, then we can stick to that for you. But if you're really adventurous and you like trying new things, then you can let us know, and we'll be able to surface some additional books that you might be interested in as well.
And then the reader has an account. So like, say, February, they want to read all historical romance. And then they go, I'm really in the mood in March for romantic suspense. They can go in and change that or add it.
Yep, absolutely. So you can add the genres that you're interested in at any point in your account settings. So that's something that's super easy to add or take away if at some point you decide that you're no longer interested in your romantic suspense. Super easy to change.
No. You keep adding genres.
That's what I like to say.
At least I do as a reader. Oh, what about this? If you subscribe to the weekly, some of the deals are fairly short term, right? So there, you would risk possibly missing maybe a quarter of them. You think that's too high a percentage?
That's actually a really good question. I'm not sure how long the average deal goes, but I would say, at least a quarter is probably a good bet. Definitely by getting it daily, you're going to make sure that you see all the deals that are live, but weekly is an option if you're concerned about email clutter, which I know lots of us are in this day and age.
So if someone subscribes to multiple genres, say paranormal romance, contemporary romance, and mystery, then do they receive one unified newsletter or email, or do they get separate emails?
Yeah, great question. So you're going to get one email that has all of your daily deals for the day. The one exception to that is if you're going to be following authors on BookBub, then if you wishlist a book, so you find a book on our website and you say, this is a book I want to read in the future, if that book is a daily deal, then you'll get a separate email dedicated just to that book to let you know that it's on sale.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. But before we get to the wish list of following authors, my thought was, that way, if you get the 3 different emails. So if you have a genre that you follow rapidly, you get the daily emails on that, and you could sign up for the weekly on the ones that you're interested in, but it's not your core readership as a reader. So there's your tip, first tip, readers. Okay, so let's talk then about, you mentioned following authors. Tell the readers how they do that.
Yeah, so we do have author follows. You can follow your favorite authors that you're interested in. And like I mentioned, one huge benefit is that you'll be notified if one of their books is running as a featured deal. So if I were to follow you, then if you had a featured deal, then I would get a special email saying that Patricia McLinn has a discounted book today. Her book is a featured deal. Don't miss it. So that's a really great tip. Just make sure if you have an author and you don't yet own all their books, then that's a really good way of making sure that you can find them when they're discounted. But then if you're not following authors, but you do want to wishlist books, that's another option. And another great thing about those author follows is that you get notified when they release a new book. So every time that they come out with a new book, you get a dedicated email about that new book.
Yeah, that's great from the author side too. I will say it's wonderful to have that notice go out to the folks who have followed us. So it's mutually beneficial. It's tri-beneficial. It's beneficial for the authors, the readers, and BookBub. So we like that all the way around. And you know what we didn't say? We didn't say that signing up is free. Should have said that from the beginning. Everything about BookBub from the reader standpoint is free. So this is a great way, and I want to talk a little bit about it. It's a great way to find new authors to you. I will stop first and say to the listeners, the very first thing you should do, of course, is go and follow Patricia McLinn. But after you've done that and read all the Patricia McLinn books, talk a little bit about how a reader would find new authors. Excuse me.
So one way, obviously, is going to be those featured deals. So it's just such a low stakes way of trying out a new author. If you're not sure, if you're just curious about learning more about what that author has to offer, that's a really easy way to try out one of their books. It'll be really cheap, so that's easy. But then you can explore on the BookBub website. So we have recommendations. So if you're looking around the website and you're trying to find books that you're interested in, you want to see some reviews, we have reviews from readers, but also from authors. So that's going to be a really cool way of just learning more about what books are really popular. If you're following a whole bunch of, let's go with romance again, romance authors, and you're curious about what kind of books they're interested in, then you'll start to see recommendations surfaced on the BookBub website of books that your romance authors are saying that they love.
So, Audrey, another way that I really love finding new authors to me is through the genres on BookBub. Do you want to explain how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you log on to the BookBub website, you can browse by genre that you like to read. And on the website, it actually goes beyond the genres that you have an option to sign up for when you're signing up for the featured deals email. So as an example, if you go onto BookBub and you go to look at contemporary romance books, so you're looking for a romance, you can actually start to look at books by more defined subgenres. So you might see military romance, cowboy romance, office romance. So it gives you a much more granular way of finding books when you're just really in the mood for something specific.
Yeah.
So you can find new books in those genres broken down by the subgenres, and you can actually also see books that are being recommended by other readers and authors.
That's really fun. And I also love that you go and look at an author and you know them for one kind of book, and then it lists what other genres, and the author gets to choose what other genres are listed with their name. And you can, I have found a couple where I knew them from one area and then went, oh, they write this too. And went off and discovered that other aspect of the author.
Oh, I love that. It opens up a whole new world for the authors that you already know and love.
Yes, it is wonderful. Are there other tidbits and areas for readers on BookBub that they should know about?
There are. So one thing that is very fun is we have a blog for readers. So we have all types of content that we're putting out on that blog. Every day there's going to be new stuff up there. So we have things like listicles. So as an example, 10 classic crime novels worth the read. That one's a lot of fun. So it's just a bunch of different books in the same theme. We have interviews, long form articles, excerpts. We have giveaways, recommendations, even videos. I mean, one of my favorites that we did, I think it was a couple months ago now, but it was called Books That Made Us Go, and then the scream emoji. So it was just a bunch of people from the BookBub office talking about books that really shocked them or scared them. It was just very funny. Highly recommend you go find that one if you like thrillers or horror.
So now I have multiple questions. The first one is, so readers can comment on these. So like if you have a listicle and they think you missed one, they can.
So actually on the BookBub website, you aren't able to comment at this point, but you can always email us. We do have a support team, and we do post our content out on Facebook. So if you like the BookBub Facebook page, then you can let us know what you think there. We love hearing from readers.
Okay, so what do people find out on the Facebook page? Would that be another way for them to know about featured deals?
Yeah, that is a great way to keep up with featured deals.
Okay.
So definitely recommend that if you're interested in deals that you sign up for the email, because that's the best way to get
to make sure you get it. Yeah.
Make sure that you're getting books that are really tailored to what you want to read. But you can keep up on Facebook with deals that we're featuring and see just more of the content that we're putting out there. So more blog articles. Sometimes we'll just ask questions. So like, hey, take a look at this historical fiction that we're loving right now. What kind of books are you enjoying at the moment? So we love to see just everything that our readers are talking about on Facebook. It's a ton of fun. So
you talked about talking about books in the BookBub office. Say that 5 times fast. And it occurs to me that, books are your business, but then do you also talk about them for fun? And do you try to keep those separate, or does it kind of wash into each other? I'm just curious about what the role of books is. I'm trying to do my grammar in my head. The role is in the BookBub office.
Oh, I mean, it's nonstop. As you would expect for a book company, we have people who absolutely adore reading here. So we have tons of books just strewn about the office. Actually, a fun fact, we just started implementing a library catalog in the BookBub office, and we
cool.
all the books that we have. So we currently have, I think, just about 1,700 books floating around.
How do you get them? Do authors send them to you?
Sometimes. So sometimes authors send them to us. Sometimes we'll buy our own. I mean, we have an in-house book club that we do. So once a quarter, we'll all pick a book to read, and everybody who's interested is going to read the book. We come together to discuss it. So that's a lot of fun. I mean, it's just so much fun talking about books that we love, and it is our business, but luckily we do have very specific business functions. So for the most part, when we're talking about books, we can just talk about what we really love about them and learn more and give each other recommendations beyond what we're already getting from BookBub.
That's fascinating. And they have a BookBub book club. Do you find that are there books that you can recognize that maybe an individual loves, an individual in BookBub loves, but would not necessarily work as a featured deal? Are there different?
Yeah, so I mean, we get hundreds of feature deal submissions every day, as you well know, as an author.
Yes.
So we unfortunately can't feature all of them, but we'll do our book club based on what people in the office are voting for. So we usually have a couple of different options, and one of them is always a featured deal. I think one is usually a new release, and then the other one, I'm not sure if we have a criteria for what the third one that we vote for is, but we just end up selecting what people in the office want to read. And sometimes that does end up being something we selected for a feature deal, and sometimes it doesn't. So it's a good way
love that.
Exploring a little bit. I definitely
It
found
is.
books that I never would have otherwise because of our book club.
I'm, as the listeners to Authors Love Readers know, I'm in a book discussion group with all authors, and there are a lot of books that I would not pick up and read on my own that I've been exposed to. And a lot of times there are books that I probably still wouldn't go and read more. Those kinds of books. And I had, problems with aspects of the book. And yet I'm always glad that I read them.
Yeah. Any recent favorites to share?
No, my mind just went blank. Totally blank. Because I can think about the ones I griped about, but and I'm not going to do that on the podcast. That's not fair. And you can imagine a group of multi-published authors, discussing books. We have rather different reactions than.
Well, that's what makes it interesting, right?
One of the things that's fascinating to me is the range within this group of the strings behind the wizard, and those who are able to still read as readers. And it's I envy them. I would very much like to be able to do that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can imagine that. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I have found that I've started reading a whole lot more since I've started working here, which is great because, I mean, when I was a kid,
oh, that's terrific.
Have endless time and endless energy to read. So I was able to do that all the time. Now that books are my business and I'm surrounded by people who absolutely love reading, I've found myself just slipping right back into that. So, and then of course I have an exponential pile of books on my Kindle just waiting for me. I actually had to give myself a rule last summer. I was like, okay, I cannot buy any more books until I read at least 10 I already own. So I managed to do that.
Oh, good for you. And then you didn't limit how many more you could buy, right? You read 10, bought 50. Well, see, I would say that with the readers on my Facebook page, somebody was talking about, I have so many books. But to me, it's like book insurance. You have to make sure that you're well covered and for every contingency.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you start a book and it's just not what you're feeling for the moment. So you need to have something else to fall back on. And then you can just go back to the original one back when you're in the right headspace for it.
And I consume books as ebooks and paper books and audiobooks. And so I tend to have at least 3 going at a time for what circumstances I'm in.
That is impressive. I have a very hard time doing that. I mean, I definitely will read when I'm commuting. I think that's a really big one for me. So I'll have my Kindle app on my phone, but I have a hard time going between books because usually when I find one I really like, I just want to be putting my head down to read all the time. And I'll ignore all my roommates and tell them to go away and close the door.
I saw a pair of socks that said on the soles of the feet, it said, if you can read this, I'm lost in a book. And I thought, yeah, that would be good. Now, I touched on that I consume audiobooks, and that brings us to another aspect of BookBub, Chirp, CHIRP. And tell us about Chirp.
So Chirp is our new audiobook platform. So it is actually a retailer, which differentiates it from BookBub. So on BookBub, you do not buy your books from BookBub. We link you to other retailers. So like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Google Play. But Chirp, you actually can buy books on Chirp and listen to them through Chirp, which is just super exciting. And we have unbeatable limited time deals on select audiobooks. So very similar to featured deals, we're offering audiobooks as low as 99 cents, which is lower than you can find almost anywhere else. And it's completely subscription free. So there are no credits, no fees. It's completely a la carte. So to sign up for Chirp is totally free. Obviously, if you're going to get the audiobooks, then you do need to pay for their account. But we do have, beyond the discounts, those limited time deals, we have a 10% off market discount on every book in our store and special discounts on New York Times bestsellers.
That's terrific. Now, you said you listen to them on Chirp. Can people listen to them on other apps, or they need to have the Chirp app?
Good question. So you do need to have the Chirp app if you're using a mobile device. And if you're on a computer, you can listen through your web browser on chirpbooks.com.
Okay. And the app itself, the Chirp app, is free.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So you can log right on. You're going to have to make a Chirp Books account. And when you sign up to buy your first book, you'll have to put in your payment information, but we only ever charge you, obviously, when you're going to actually buy a book. And we have a team here who is just hard at work, constantly developing new features for the app. So it's getting updated all the time.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. And I will say I've had a Chirp deal, and I've also with one of my audiobooks, and I've also subscribed, so I get the daily emails, and there are some very impressive deals on there.
We're super excited about it. I mean, we absolutely love it. We've had people asking us for audiobooks for so long, both on the reader side and the author side. So when we were finally able to roll this out, we were just so psyched to be able to give something that our readers had been asking for so long.
Well, it's great to know that the consumers of audiobooks were asking for it. I knew the authors were. I've been one of those going, hey, how do we get word out to potential readers about the audiobooks? That's wonderful. So go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, we actually had something really funny. I'm sure you saw as you're signed up for BookBub that we were sending out invitations to all of our BookBub members, inviting them to join Chirp. So they were the first ones to know about it. And in one of our marketing emails, we would introduce Chirp with the name twice in a row. So there was a sentence like, we'd love to introduce you to Chirp, ! Chirp is a new audiobook platform, et cetera, et cetera. And it was really cute. We had some people who were writing in who thought our name was Chirp Chirp. So we had a few people writing in like, hi, Joe, I would love to join Chirp Chirp. Thanks so much. It was the cutest thing.
Well, hey, that actually brings up a good point, because I think on if you just try to type in the URL, it's Chirp Books, isn't it? .com?
Yep, chirpbooks.com.
Okay, yeah, because there's somebody else out there, chirp.com, and they're going to be very confused if they get a lot of requests about audiobooks.
You definitely want to find us in the right place.
Yeah, and it's not going to be happy for those of us who want the audiobooks either. So
feel a little lost.
Yes. Must be chirpbooks.com. So is there anything else that we should tell the readers about BookBub?
So let me think. I mean, we have those deal alerts, which are great. We alert readers to new releases once a week. So if you're signed up and you have all your genre preferences in, then you'll get a weekly email with new releases in the genres that you love. You can see recommendations from your favorite authors. You as a reader can post reviews and recommendations, which is something we're really excited about. So if you love to share what you think of books that you're reading, then you can do that on BookBub. There is a social aspect to that too, so you can comment and like on other reviews, so that can actually be a fun way to interact with authors at some times. If you write a review on an author's book, then they might be able to see it and like it or comment on it. So there are just a lot of things that we have to offer to readers beyond just featured deals, which we launched with 7 years ago now at this point.
Oh my goodness, really?
Amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. And I will say, from the author standpoint, BookBub is really good to work with, and they are great people. So I do recommend it to people, and that was what was behind this podcast, because I was telling family members, "Are you on BookBub?" And they, "We what?" And so said, "Okay, we got to have more people know about this."
Yep, I'm still trying to get all my friends to sign up for BookBub.
You got to keep working on that. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time today to come and talk to Authors Love Readers podcast. It's been delightful.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Pat.
Well, it's always fun to talk to you, Audrey. We may have to have you back just to talk about books at some point.
I would love that.
And to the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. We'll be back with more things for readers, in particular about what things are out there that maybe you're not as aware of because as authors, we know about these things, as we said, from the author side, but there's so much there for the readers, and hope to bring you some of that. So tune back in. And in the meantime, wishing you very happy reading. That's the show for this week. Hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for joining Authors Love Readers podcast. Remember, you can always find out more about our guest authors in the show notes, and you can find out more about me at www.patriciamclinn.com. You can also send in questions to be asked of future authors at podcast@authorslovereaders.com. Until next week, wishing you lots of happy reading. Bye.